In this episode, we are going to deep dive into the intriguing dynamics of friendships and human connections. What's particularly interesting is that despite being complete strangers to one another before this assignment, we have found ourselves to be surprisingly similar based on the Myers-Briggs personality assessment. This similarity has sparked some thought-provoking questions, such as what drives people to form friendships in the first place, what are the underlying factors that cause certain individuals to be drawn to one another, while others don't quite click, why do some friendships grow stronger over time while others fizzle out or even come to an end. We will be taking a closer look on how the personality assessment, such as the Myers-Briggs, helps clarify the factors behind the compatibility and dynamics of friendships. Can understanding our personality types actually give us insight into what makes our relationships thrive or struggle? By the end of this episode, we hope to unravel some of the mysteries of human connection and gain a better understanding of the complex factors that shape the friendships that play such an important role in our lives.
Okay, now we are all going to introduce ourselves. How's it going? My name is Santiago, from Chicago. 3 words my friends would describe me as are relaxed, funny, kind. I'm in a fraternity here at Miami. After I graduate, I'm planning on moving back to Chicago, which is home, get a job, work, probably live at home for a bit, and then move downtown with some of my friends, hopefully. Some hobbies are playing basketball. I like to listen to music. I like to cook. I like to go to the gym. What's my favorite food after a night out in Oxford? That would depend on how I'm feeling that night. I don't have an answer for that. What show am I watching? I was currently watching Severance. I finished it. It's great. Favorite way to spend a Saturday would definitely be outside with all my friends on a nice day. Why did I choose Miami? Because my brother went here. I visited. It was a great time. And yes, I have an older brother, and we're pretty close.
Awesome. What kind of foods do you like to cook?
All sorts of things. Like to cook breakfast, eggs and bacon. Like to cook pasta, steak.
Wow. Is eggs and bacon your everyday breakfast?
No, definitely not.
What's a typical breakfast?
It depends on the day.
What'd you have today?
What did I have today? I had pineapple.
Oh,
Just
Egg
fruit.
grapes.
freshly
Just
cut?
It was pre-cut at the store, yeah.
Okay, hi, my name's Margaux. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and 3 words my friends would use to describe me are energetic, passionate, and personable. On campus, on and off campus, I'm in a sorority, and I also go to a run club sometimes. It's been kind of hard to go just because it's been so cold and rainy, but now the weather's getting better. I'm also in a research lab, but I'm not super involved in that. Next year, I'll be working a sales job in Chicago, and I'll be living with some of my friends from Miami and my best friend from home. In my free time, I love to run and walk and be outside and just work out. Spend time with my roommates this year, especially since we're seniors, we're constantly together. I also like to cook, and I like to read as well as scroll on Pinterest. It's kind of an addiction. As far as food after a night out, I actually love Skyline, and I used to hate it. I used to think it was so gross and weird, and I think I was just stuck up about it. But then I tried it my second semester junior year outside of OPUB, and now I eat it every weekend. And right now I'm currently watching White Lotus, so I'm super excited for the season finale this Sunday. On a typical Saturday, I love to, before going out, I like to wake up, get kofenya with my friends, go get a bagel at the farmer's market. They're super good. And maybe go for a walk if it's nice. And then in the afternoon, pregame with my friends at my house if it's nice outside. And then just get into whatever Oxford has to offer that day. I chose Miami because one of my good family friends went here, And my mom made me visit. And even though I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to a city school, I visited and I fell in love with the quintessential college town vibe. And I'm so glad I chose to come here. My favorite restaurant at my favorite restaurant at Miami is probably Mac and Joe's. I love the vibe in there. I think they have great burgers, salads, wings, and it kind of feels like a saloon. And I love to play cards there. And we don't really have that many options here. It's usually like Asian food or, I don't know, pizza. So that is probably the best, besides pickle and pig. As far as my siblings, I have an older brother who's 24 and a younger sister who's about to turn 21, and we're 17 months apart, so we're basically twins. We're best friends. We do everything together. I would say compared to other siblings, we're very close, which I'm super thankful for. And yeah, that's about me.
Hi, my name is Abby Leonard, and I am from Columbus, Ohio. 3 words my friends would use to describe me are probably outgoing, expressive, and driven. I'm currently a senior at Miami, and I'm in a sorority here. Next year, I don't have a job yet because I'm still trying to decide what I want to do, something in marketing. But next year, I plan to move to New York with 2 of my best friends. It's like my favorite city ever. I love to work out, listen to music, cook, and be around my friends, especially because it's senior year. We're always hanging out. I love to eat, so my favorite food after a night out is a hard question, but recently it has been Skyline. I literally had never had it before I came here, and I also used to think it was really nasty and gross because I was like confused why so much cheese and chili was on a hot dog, but it's so good. Um, I go through TV shows super fast. The minute I start them, I can't stop. So I've recently been watching a lot, but currently I'm rewatching Grey's Anatomy and watching White Lotus, but I'm only on season 2, so I need to catch up. A Saturday in Oxford for me is typically spent waking up super late and then deciding if I'm going to go out or not, and I always end up going out with my friends, so that's typically what I do. I applied to 11 schools when I was trying to decide where I wanted to go, and it took me forever to decide. I was super indecisive, but I came to visit Miami during my senior year of high school with one of my best friends, Anna, and we stayed with her brother. And after that one visit, I knew I wanted to go here. I just loved the campus and loved the energy. I honestly don't eat out that much here because I have no money, but when I do, it's normally Chipotle because I live above there and it's just always hits. My favorite Oxford food place is probably Sushi King because I'm obsessed with sushi and they have the 50% off deal, so I have to take it and I crave it all the time. I'm the oldest in my family and I only have one younger brother named Jake who's a sophomore at Ohio State. We have a pretty good relationship. We're both really chill and not overly expressive, so we don't really talk when we aren't living in the same house, but it's fine. We only really talk when we see each other in person, but we get along really good. So yeah, that's basically it.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm from Lake Forest, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. And my friends would probably describe me as understanding, goofy, and amiable. I am in a sorority on campus, and I also was involved in the sailing team for a little bit, but I haven't really been involved since sophomore year. So next year I plan on living in Chicago with my boyfriend, and hopefully I will work in human resources. I'm still looking for jobs currently, and it's pretty stressful, but I'm hopeful. I would say my hobbies include reading, skiing in the winter, and sailing in the summer if I have the chance to, and also probably just hang out with my dogs. My current favorite food to eat after a night out is probably Ox Vegas chicken because I live right next to it. So usually when I just open my window to get fresh air, I can kind of smell the chicken, so that's probably why. I'm currently watching White Lotus, but I don't know what I would say my favorite TV show is. My favorite way to spend a Saturday at Miami is at the bar with my friends and then eat dinner with my roommates after. And I chose Miami because I transferred here second semester freshman year. I went to a school in California and it was awful. And so I'm from the Midwest and a lot of people from my hometown go here. So I took a tour and I could really see myself here. And I have a few favorite restaurants in Oxford. I'd probably say Sushi King fridge and pantry, and also Skyline. I grew up on Skyline because I used to live in Cincinnati when I was younger, so I love it. And I have one older brother. His name's Ryan. He is 24, and he lives in LA, so I try to talk to him as much as I can, but he's really busy down, like, over there, so it can be a little hard. Yeah.
Are you reading any good books right now?
Not really. I'm kind of in a slump, but I did get a Kindle for my birthday.
Yes.
And so I'm really excited to download books, but I want to figure out a way to get free books because I don't want to pay for them.
Okay, well, we
You
can
know.
talk offline.
Okay.
I have a little hack, but I love my Kindle too.
What kind of dogs do you have?
My family has 4 Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, so they're all like different colors, but they're all the same dog. So
Hi, my name is Lily Carnes. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I've always lived there. I grew up around all of my cousins. My entire family is from Cincinnati. 3 words my friends described me as were enthusiastic, energetic, and supportive. I chose to attend Miami because I'm a homebody, and Miami was my favorite school that I visited that was only an hour away from home, so I'm able to go home whenever I want and have dinner with my family, or they can come up and have lunch with me. My brother, Ross, he's a year younger than me. He always comes up and visits because his friends go here too. They also bring my dogs up, which I love. They come and have picnics with me. I also really love how beautiful this campus is and how homey it feels. My favorite thing to do here is go on walks with my friends and explore new shops and restaurants. I also like to go into Hamilton and explore down there. My favorite restaurants right now, I think, would be El Burrito Loco because I actually have dreams about the shrimp taco salad. So good. And then I also really like Gaslight Brew House. Their Cajun chicken pasta is my favorite. After night out, it's always Skyline. I'm obviously from Cincinnati, so I've grown up on it, and it's still as good as it has ever been.
What's your order?
I usually do a 3-way and a cheese coney, plain.
Good order.
Yeah, I can never make up my mind. Typical Saturday would be waking up, chugging Gatorade. And then me and my roommates always have like a little breakfast buffet where like we'll make eggs or sausage or bacon, pancakes, and then we just eat, watch an episode of whatever we're watching, and then we head uptown and go out all day. And then as of right now, I'm still interviewing for jobs in Columbus. Hopefully it'll be something in social work, but yeah, I'm hoping that turns out well.
Awesome. So I think we're all watching White Lotus. Does anybody, well, besides you,
No,
Abby,
I'm
I know you're not
not.
caught up,
But
but
you guys keep telling me to watch it, but I haven't started it yet.
okay, you need to.
I know.
But do you have
So good.
any like predictions about who you think will die?
I'm closing my ears.
You can't spoil it. for them.
Well,
Well, it's still a prediction.
Okay.
I don't know, but the preview was showing the smoothie, like the blender, so I think someone's gonna
Oh.
die from that. I don't know who. I don't think it's gonna be the dad. That's too predictable.
I agree.
Because the whole
He's a
show,
test
he's trying to
case.
kill himself.
Be
Yeah.
one of the
So-
3 ladies. One of them.
Yeah.
You think?
Oh, that'd be a good one.
That would be, yeah. Because
wouldn't
they
expect
they
that.
portray them as like being like side characters, and that would be a good surprise.
Yeah.
I think like
I've heard a lot of
Piper,
I've heard
or
a lot
she's
of,
gonna be the one.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of things about the siblings. Like one of them might die.
Yeah, I can't with that dynamic.
I just know, yeah. I just know like it's always accidental, so no one really can expect who it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think the mom or Piper's gonna have like a psychic break.
Probably.
I don't know.
But I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so getting into the Myers-Briggs. For those who don't know, the Myers-Briggs is a personality assessment that predicts your personality types based on how you make decisions and the patterns of perceptions and judgments The assessment has 8 preferences organized into 4 pairs of opposites. So it's extroversion versus introversion, sensing versus intuition, thinking versus feeling, and judging versus perceiving. So we'll dive in to see if everyone agrees or disagrees with the results. So we predicted what our results were, and then we took the test. So for me, going through the test, I just kind of try to answer the questions with my gut reaction. I didn't try to like ponder on them too much. My initial prediction was EIFJ, so extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and judgment. But I actually got ESFJ, so the only difference was instead of intuition, I got sensing. So that means I'm a, quote, consul. So I was only 1 letter off, and I would assume that I'm a little bit more intuitive than sensing, but according to this, I'm more sensing. I somewhat agree. I guess the only part I don't really agree with is the name consul. I don't know if I would have like blindly have chosen that as my label. But after talking with my friends a little bit, they were like, yeah, they think I'm more of a consul and like a caring and a friend as a friend perspective. They think I'm a consul. So, yeah.
Okay, hey, this is Abby. So, for my Myers-Briggs, I originally guessed that I would be ESTJ, which is extroversion, sensing, thinking, and judging. And I was pretty spot on. The only thing I got wrong was instead of thinking, I was feeling. I was 69% feeling, so I was pretty high, so I was pretty off about that. But I thought the actual test was going to take a lot longer than it did. I kind of just like, I was surprised when there was only like 60, 70 questions and like they were pretty easy to answer. Some of the questions were also difficult for me to answer. I was kind of on the fence. I'm like super indecisive. I feel like I honestly like could have chosen like different ways each. Like I feel like I was like going in different directions. But after reading through my results, like I didn't really have an opinion on any of like the personality. Like I didn't know what any of them meant. So like after reading through my results, I think I agree with them. I never thought much about what personality I am. But I think I seem to be a mix of a lot of different things.
Okay, this is Grace. So I predicted that I was INFP, which is the mediator, but my results were ENFJ, the protagonist, so a little different. And so it turns out I got 2 out of the 4 traits right, and according to my results, it said I had 56% extroversion, 63% intuition, 86% feeling, and 83% judging. Oh, and 65% assertiveness. The test was shorter than I thought it would be, but some of the questions took longer than others because I had to really think about myself, and it was kind of hard because I wasn't exactly sure. It kind of depends on the situation. And so I was pretty surprised at first, but after reading more about the protagonist, it made more sense, and I started to agree with it.
Okay, it's Lily, and my prediction for the test was ESFP, which is extroverted, sensing, feeling, and perceiving. And I ended up getting ENFJ, which is the protagonist. I do agree with this because after going through and reading my results, it said that protagonist is often energized by social interaction and able to express your enthusiasm and excitement openly, and I feel like that is on point. It also said that I'm very open-minded and I value emotional expression and sensitivity, and I have always said that I'm a very big empath, so that goes along with my results. For the judging, I took that as like kind of a negative at first, but reading about it, it just basically said that I'm more organized and thorough with my decisions, and I value structure and planning over things, and with my OCD, I will greatly agree with that. So overall, I think that my test is very accurate.
Okay, so me and Lily had the same prediction and results. which was protagonist. What did I think of the actual test? It was pretty straightforward. Some of the questions felt a little broad. Do I agree with my results? Yeah, I could see myself in that description. And my prediction versus results, yeah, I kind of expected it. It was cool to see that it came out the way it did. How is it interesting that 5 of us were only 2? I think it shows how we naturally gravitate towards similar people.
I think it's really interesting that out of all 16 traits, all 5 of us only had 2, being consul and protagonist, which all have extroversion. Like, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Especially since none of us had met each other before this.
Yeah.
And the fact that out of like all 16 different personality traits, we ended up being pretty similar. So I think that's pretty cool.
Okay, now we're gonna ask each other some questions about our own personal friendships and how we've handled them and how they have grown. So first I'm gonna talk about my best friend Lucy. She is my best friend since we were 3 years old. I remember at our very first soccer practice when we were 3, I just went up to her and I was like, so do you want to be my friend? And she said, yeah, and ever since then, we have been best friends. She goes here to Miami. Found out she was my grandma's next-door neighbor, so we've always been very close. We don't live with each other anymore, but we have, and she's someone that I don't need to talk to every day. I usually do, but even if I don't see her or talk to her, I always know that I can show up at her house whenever I want, and she'll be there for me.
I'd say my best friend is my roommate, Lindsay. We met on the Facebook page going into freshman year, so we've been roommates since freshman year, and we've lived together ever since, in the dorms, abroad, last year, this year. I would say Lindsay's very goofy. She definitely balances me out. She's very quirky, and we laugh a lot together. She's very studious, but also the world's worst procrastinator. And she has an online shopping addiction, whereas, like, I'm the opposite. So we definitely are, I would say, opposites attract. And she's very empathetic and always knows when I'm stressed or anxious. She doesn't even have to ask. She just knows. We work great together. She's basically like my sister. Even though I have a sister, she's kind of like my second sister, and she's been part of my family ever since freshman year. And yeah, we're basically inseparable, and she's not going to be in Chicago next year because of her job, so that's going to be really hard and sad, but we'll definitely be visiting each other all the time. So yeah, that's Lindsay.
I would say I like really can't decide whenever I say like my best friend. I like have like I just can't choose. But I would say probably like if I had to pick like one person who's probably like one of my closest friends is my friend Anna. She was my freshman year roommate also. But we met in high school, and fun fact, we have the same last name, but we're not related. So that's kind of fun. Everyone thinks we're cousins, and a lot of people believe us when we tell them that we are. But we became really close junior year of high school, and then ended up going to Miami and rooming together. And we lived together again junior year, but we don't live together now. We're like extremely similar, which is like really bad because we encourage each other to do horrible things and are each other's worst influences, I feel like, but it's also really fun. She's just super relaxed and funny and always down to like do fun things. She's also one of my friends who I'm planning to move to New York with. So that should be really fun, and I'm excited for that next chapter of my life.
That's awesome.
I'd probably say my best friend. She is also my freshman year roommate. And it's kind of funny because I was transferring in, and we were random roommates, actually. And she had a bad experience with her old roommate, so she was really angry that she was having a new roommate, and she was like telling everyone she was going to have boundaries and she wasn't going to be friends with me. And then right when she walked into the door, like she just became my best friend, so she did not stay with that. She is very funny, outgoing, genuine, and she has no filter. She will like speak her mind. She's also very confrontational to people, which can be really funny. And I lived with her freshman year, not sophomore year, and then junior year, and now senior year. And she's also moving to Chicago. I'm not living with her, but hopefully our apartments are close. And yeah.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree with Abby that I think it's hard to pick one friend. I have so many good friends. I feel like at this point, after all these years in school, say my friend Eli is definitely my best friend. Both went to the same high school, got super close like sophomore and junior year. I brought him here to visit my brother. He was going to go to Indiana, and then he was like, absolutely not. Just stand-up guy, cares about other people, just realizes what's good for the world. Really smart guy, can be not so smart sometimes. He's hilarious. Just get along super well with him. He's going back to Chicago as well. Lives like the town over for me. Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, I also agree. Like, I feel like I have different friends for like different reasons. Like,
Yeah.
like ways I'm feeling. Like, if I'm like want to go on a walk, I'll go to my friend Katsy. If I want to lay in bed and watch a movie, I'll go to my friend Ellie. Like, if I want to go shopping, it's Lucy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel
Completely.
like, yeah.
That's so true. My mom always gave me that advice when I was younger, like friends for different reasons, which has been so nice. I guess I feel like it's held true throughout all of my different stages in life, but I guess definitely college.
Yeah.
Like you said, like I definitely have my walking friends, my study friends, my going out friends, and it's good. It just keeps, I feel like it's like, I
Yeah.
guess what adult friendships will be
As
like.
much as I love them all, too much can be
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
having
I
the
agree.
different groups
What do you
can
think?
balance it out.
What do you guys think about like living with your best friend? Because
I've
some of
done
us
it.
live with our best
Yeah.
friends, but could you live with your best friend? forever?
I've lived with her so much. I love her, but I do need space from her sometimes. But
Yeah.
like, I know she needs space from me also. So we
Right.
just like don't bother each other if we're like in our rooms or something. I was planning on living with her next year, but then I decided not to. I just think it's good with like boundaries and like
Yeah.
knowing like you can't be with each other all the time, especially during spring break. I like was with all my friends for like 5 days, and after I was like, I need like a few days to be by myself because I've been with you guys like 24/7.
I agree. I feel like it depends on like both of your personalities because like I know like living with Anna, we literally fought like sisters like every single day, but like that's just how our relationship is. Like if we fight, like we literally fight and it like everyone knows like that's not gonna like ruin our friendship. It's just like how we work. So I feel like in that situation, it's like it's easy to live with someone because you can fight and you know it'll be like completely fine. Like we fight like every single day and it's like not deep.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
how
like,
we are. We're like, I feel like I'm close enough where I can just be like, all right, you're annoying me. Please stop talking for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing
That's
where it's
almost
like,
better.
I'm
It
going to
is,
walk
yeah.
out of the room and because you're annoying me. Like, it's just
I-
that kind of thing.
And I kind of think about it too. Sometimes, like, if I'm ever like frustrated with one of my roommates, it's like, well, I would tell my boyfriend immediately if he was frustrating me.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
why shouldn't I? Like, what's the difference? Like, if I cared just as much about them, I should owe it to them to like not be passive and just let them know. But with my roommate Lindsay, I feel like because we like went through freshman year together, we learned so much about ourselves and each other that like we honestly can do anything. We basically shared a bed abroad. So I feel like it's better for us to live together than other people because we are so comfortable with like telling each other, oh, like she knows how I tick. Like she knows like I'm anal about certain things and I know she's not about other
Yeah.
things. So it works.
I feel like girls also are a lot pickier. Like,
Yes,
Santiago, like,
definitely.
living with boys, like, what
What's that like?
is it?
No, yeah, I mean, I've lived with
anything?
Eli every semester of school, like literally every semester, and I would be fine with living with him after too. He's super easygoing. there's definitely times where I'm like, you are such an idiot. Like,
Do you guys fight?
not even, like, we rarely fight. He's like a teddy bear.
Aw.
Super nice kid. And sometimes he's just doing stuff, and it's just like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
But no, I would definitely live with him after school.
Yeah.
100%.
So we kind of touched on this, but do you think you need to talk to everybody or talk to someone every day in order to maintain your friendship, or is it okay to go long periods without talking?
I feel like I have a ton of long distance friends. Like my friend group at home is like 12 girls and like a few more too, but like my super close friend group is 12 people, and we all like pretty much went to different colleges except for like the 5 of us or 4 of us that go here. But I feel like I do not talk to like half of them like throughout the whole school year, and it doesn't like impact our relationship at all. But I also just feel like if it depends on how close you guys, like how close your relationship is, because like I feel like friendships, like depending on people's personalities, like I know people say it's like you're an easy, or like what is it called, like an easy long, like low maintenance, like long
maintenance
distance
friends,
friend, yeah, low maintenance friends. And I feel like it can be really hard to be friends with someone who's like a high maintenance friend. Like if you like if they need like that like attention, like I don't feel the need to like ask my friends like what they're doing 24/7, because like they live their own lives at school and like I'm living my own, and it doesn't bother me if they don't ask me like what I'm doing 24/7. But like I know some people need that like reassurance and like need that friendship being kept up all year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have friends from home that some of them I talk to weekly, that some of them do need to like actually like
Yeah.
talk to me a lot,
Yeah.
which I totally understand. But I also have some other friends that I don't talk to at all during the school year, and then we kind of pick up where we left off
Yeah.
when we're back home. And it's really nice because we also like can like talk about a lot of things that happened over the semester. But I also don't have to worry about having to contact them all the time while I'm at school and busy with other things.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say I stay in close contact with like my 3 best girlfriends from home. But we all went to different schools, mostly out of state. So my like extended friend group, when we see each other, we usually see each other like a couple times a break, and it's like we pick up right where we left off. And that's so much better than having like, I feel like having the pressure of staying in contact with them would build resentment, or
Yeah.
it just wouldn't be as valuable as a friendship. So it's nice to have those low maintenance friends.
Yeah. 100%.
Have you ever been given good friendship advice?
I feel like I have. I feel like it's hard. I feel like my parents have given me a lot of good friendship advice. But I also feel like you don't really listen a lot of the times to people like with relationships. I feel like it's hard to take advice from people, and you just kind of have to live through it. Like with romantic relationships and friendships, I feel like you don't listen to people until it actually you experience it and like figure it out for yourself. And I feel like for me, I've learned a lot like just through like reading and experiencing, and in one of the articles like I've read recently, like it was like a blog on like why we choose the friends we choose. There's a quote about like I found as my interests and priorities changed, so did my friends, and I feel like that's a really good piece of advice. Like it's okay to like let friendships go, even if like nothing bad happened. Like it's okay to like be distant from people that like you used to be super close with, because like even though like there's no like bad blood between you guys, like it's just like your lives have changed and you're growing into like different people.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like I've noticed that the most coming from high school into college. Although I've maintained a lot of my friendships from high school, there's still those people that were like, I guess like your class friends, your school friends, or like a sport friend, that I'm just not in contact with, whether it's because they either didn't go to school or I don't know, we kind of just, life takes you in different directions. But I think it will be cool because a lot of people from St. Louis do go to Chicago post-grad. So it would be interesting to see if like any of those friendships like get rekindled based on life circumstance. So yeah.
This is still the friendship advice question, right? Okay.
Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say advice. I think my parents just raised me well. Definitely looked up to them, specifically my older brother. I just learned a lot from him. Wouldn't be who I am without him, obviously. So I wouldn't say advice. I would just say like observing and learning.
Yeah.
What did you observe from your brother that you feel like you have used in your friendships?
That's a great question. It's been a lot of years that I've been looking up to him. I don't know. He's just a great guy. He's always had like a good friend group. Yeah, I mean, I just learned from him.
Would you say you're observant in the way that like you can read people well, so you know?
100%.
Yeah,
yes.
that's how I feel. I feel like I can
Mm-hmm.
have one conversation with someone and like I can see their intentions,
Yeah.
Like
I
Sense
can
their vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
Or,
Mm.
100%.
I agree with that. I guess that's kind of called like an empath, right? Or just having emotional intelligence.
I feel like empath is like when you feel for others.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's true.
I feel like that's different.
Maybe just
But
emotional
kind of.
intelligence. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
all psych majors.
That's what I was gonna say.
But,
It's a psych major.
Yeah, I agree. I feel
good
like
at reading people.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
definitely get a good, especially at this point in our lives, we're all like almost 22 or almost 22.
Yeah.
We know what we look for in friends and what sustains our friendships.
Yeah.
So I feel like we probably all have a good idea of like in the first 10 minutes if this person's
Yeah.
going to be a friend or
Mhm.
not. Do you think Miami makes it easy to make friends? Like the culture at Miami?
I do think it's pretty easy to make friends at Miami. At my old school in California, it was so hard to find people and friends. But right when I transferred to Miami, I met some of my closest friends like the first day or during bid day for my sorority, and I'm still best friends with them to this day. And I also feel like Miami has so many clubs and activities where it's so easy to meet people. And also, most people don't go home on the weekends, which is like really important
I
to meet people
agree.
on the weekends, which I feel like makes the environment and the culture of Miami really easy to make friends and meet people.
What do you think is like was the biggest difference between the school in California from Miami? Or actually, what school was it?
Yeah,
It was Chapman University.
Yes, yeah.
I've heard of that.
I could complain about that school for so long.
I think I know people who have transferred from
Yeah,
there.
oh, I know a lot of people that have.
Yeah.
It was just so hard to meet people. And
Mhm.
my roommate at the time, she lived like 10 minutes away. She would go home. Everyone would go home. So it was so hard to meet people. You had to have a car to go do things. And I did not have a car in California.
Right.
And so it was just like kind of like lonely a little bit. But like at Miami, I've never felt lonely at Miami.
Yeah.
It's just all the people here.
I agree with you. I mean, I haven't had experience at a different school because I've been at Miami the whole time. But I guess, or actually, I take that back. Visiting schools, I feel like I notice it the most. Like whenever I visited my best friend goes to Indiana, and I go there, and it's like everyone just sticks to their people. They don't step outside. Everyone's kind of like cold and like they're just not very warm and welcoming. And like I feel like at Miami, like especially Saturdays are like so silly, and everyone wants to like laugh and be crazy. And whenever I went for a game day, I was like, okay, like what should I wear? Like what should I bring? And my friend was like, oh, you can borrow one of my sweatshirts. Like we don't don't wear a red sweater. Like people don't do that here. And I'm like, what? Like they just want to be the same. Like nobody wants to be different, or I don't know. It's just kind of a weird vibe there. But Miami, I love because I feel like there's this underlying just like acceptance and like people are just here. Obviously, we're here to get an education, but everyone's here is also to like make the best memories. And especially, I mean, I know we're all in Greek life too, so that helps. I feel like it just makes the campus seem so much smaller. You like know everybody. But yeah, I agree, especially like what you said, Grace, no one goes home on the weekends. At other schools, like even SEC schools, they're always traveling to different like games and game days, so people aren't always there. But at Miami, it's like there's always something going on.
I feel like a lot of my friends of like that don't go to Miami, they're always just like Miami's just like a bigger high school, which can be bad at sometimes, but it's also like really fun because I feel like you literally do know everyone, and like even if you're not like super close with people, like I feel like everyone still like will just say hi. Like I feel like everyone just like knows of each other, like a lot of different like you like have your friend groups, but like also I feel like when you go out you like interact with so many different groups of people, and I feel like at some other schools it's not like that.
Yeah, and me and my friends always say that you're like one person away
Yeah.
from knowing them.
Yeah.
Like you may
You
not know
literally
them,
are,
but
yeah.
my roommate knows them.
Yeah,
or my roommate's
exactly.
friend knows them.
Yeah, everyone's connected.
Yeah. Which can be good and bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So something I have learned from my friendships is sometimes friendships naturally come to an end as we grow and take different paths in life. And I've also read an article recently about why people become friends with someone, and it really highlights a bunch of different reasons. So a few of them are similar interests, like shared hobbies, values, beliefs, and backgrounds. There's also the need for connection, and it just explains how humans seek companionship, also acceptance and emotional support, how friendships provide a sense of belonging and support and emotional validation. And also, the article describes admiration. Sometimes people friend those who they admire for their talents, achievements, or personal qualities. And I feel like this article just is very well-rounded on all the reasons why people become friends with someone.
Going off of that, something I've learned from my friendships, especially through college, because I feel like it's just been 4 years of growth, is I feel like in high school you kind of get stuck with people, good or bad, because at least for my high school it wasn't that big. So I was kind of friends with the same people since middle school, which was great. But I felt like I was friends with people who were all super similar to me. And a thing I've realized since like maturing and growing up is like it's good to have friends, not even just necessarily for different reasons, but like friends from different backgrounds, friends with different opinions, friends who are different than you, friends who are into different things than you. And I feel like that has let me grow so much because all my friends, we are all similar because I mean we all go to Miami, we're all in the same sorority, but even people outside my sorority, we all have differences that I feel like has let us grow and open up my mindset versus in high school. I feel like I had a more closed mindset. Like I wanted to surround myself with people who were similar than me. I don't know. It just keeps things interesting and opens you up to more people.
I also agree, but being here, I'm still friends with my friends from high school here, but I also, we made sure that we branched out and met other people too. So now, I'm still friends with them, but we've all also made our own friends and brought them into our friend group. So it's not just us Cincinnati girls. We've met so many other people that are, they're also from Cincinnati, but they're from all over the place. And now it's just one big friend group.
And did you do that intentionally with your friends, or did it kind of just happen
naturally?
naturally?
We made it a point to be like, we're not going to room together.
That's awesome.
We're not going to, we're going to do stuff on our own and, branch out.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
That's
But
so,
also,
mature of you guys, because I feel like a lot of the in-state kids do room with their friends, and then it's they kind of do get stuck.
Yeah.
That's super.
Yes.
All of my friends, I have 4 friends, like I said, that are from my hometown, in Dublin. But I feel I feel like ours wasn't super intentional, but my friend group freshman year was there was 8 of us, and I can't remember, but all 6, 7, 8 of us went each a different sorority. So none of us are in the same sorority. So it made it really easy to just branch out and meet so many new people. So I'm friends with all Anna's friends in AFI and Jessica's friends in DG. It's makes our friend group huge and makes the connections everywhere. So it's I loved that aspect of it. It was almost better that we all went different ways. So
Yeah, I agree with that. My freshman year friends, we all almost, not all of us, but mostly went different sororities. And it's been so fun because last year we all lived together.
Yeah.
And it was 8 of us, and there was 6 different sororities in our house, which was
go
so
to different
fun.
date parties, meet every year's always something to do because you can go to everyone's events. It's honestly so much.
Your friends
so
just
much fun.
multiply.
Yes, it's
right
the
after
best.
midday, pretty much. Not even just in your sorority, but
it's
everywhere.
awesome.
All right, I'm so glad we had this opportunity to get to know each other because without this project or this class, we probably wouldn't have otherwise, which is kind of crazy since we were just talking about how small Miami feels and how we're all psych majors. But yeah, I'm glad that we've all become friends through this, and we'll probably see each other at Skyline this weekend.
Yep.